Welcome into the Engine on WNTH Radio, 88.1 FM inside the studio at New Trier High School. Glad to have you in on a Friday. It's Football Friday for us, for the Engine. We're excited to have you in. Johnny Fogel alongside Nick Freeman and Nick Falk. Nick Freeman, tell them what we're going to be doing today.
Today we're doing NFL game picks. We're going through playoff scenario, the biggest games this week. Maybe throw in a little college basketball at the end, but it's mostly an NFL-focused day. It's our second episode going on YouTube. Last night we posted our first. Check it out. It was about the NBA. And also, remember, do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, tell your friends. We're trying to make this blow up. Remember, we are the Engine, and we're going to start with Johnny, football.
All right, here we go. And I'm going to give you different games this week that have the most important implications. We obviously knew who the contenders and the pretenders are at this point in the year. We're going to call this 4th and goal. And the game we're going to start with of this weekend, we got 3 games on Saturday. 2 of those I find really important. Number 1, Bills and Patriots. Nick Friedman started off.
It's in New England. I'm going with the Patriots. I think it's going to be a defensive game like it was the first time. The first time they played, they beat the Bills on September 29th, 16-10. It was their first real contest of the season. Now that it's in New England, they are pretty amazing at Foxborough. I like Tom Brady having a big game. His offense coming together towards the end of the season, week 16. It finally has to happen. And I'm just not going to pick against New England.
And I think I would actually take the Bills if this was in Buffalo.
Okay.
But since it's in Foxborough, it's really hard to go in there and win, especially at this time of the year. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking the Patriots.
I think I'm comfortable saying, even though I think the Patriots are going to win this game, I'm comfortable saying that the Bills are the best defense in the NFL at this point in the season.
I would take the Patriots still.
I'm taking the Bills. They're second in scoring defense, and they're second in defensive efficiency, and they're top 3 run and top 5 passing. I like this Bills defense a lot. They don't, just similar to the Patriots defense, they don't have as many big names outside of Stephon Gilmore. This is going to be a really low-scoring game. But Brady, I don't think he's going to have a huge game. He's struggled this year. This team really doesn't have a vertical threat. And sources of, I've heard this, sources on ESPN that Julian Edelman physically is falling apart because of the amount of usage that he gets in this offense.
Without Rob Gronkowski, this is his first year taking the number 1 receiver and getting the double teams the most.
Exactly. He's really missing Danny Amendola, Rob Gronkowski. I think the reason the Patriots will win this game is because they're going to use James White more often than they're going to use Julian Edelman. I like the Patriots to win this game close. But it is in New England.
I think that, I don't think the Bills' defense is the best in the NFL. If you look at their schedule, it's not nearly as...
It's still impressive, though. They're holding teams.
They've played the Jets, the Giants, the Bengals, the Titans when they were bad, the Dolphins, the Redskins, the Browns, the Dolphins.
Yeah, this Bills defense is really good.
The Broncos.
I don't think it's on the same level as the Patriots.
I mean, we'll see. We saw it. It was a low-scoring game when they played earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. But moving on, I've got the Patriots. You two have the Patriots.
My big tiebreaker is, I think, pretty equal defenses we can agree on.
Yeah.
I would go Patriots, but it's pretty equal. I think it comes down to Tom Brady versus Josh Allen. And I'm not saying Josh Allen hasn't had a great year, but it's Tom Brady. You got to trust him.
It is the experience aspect of it. That second game on Saturday, Rams at 49ers. Rams trying to fight for the playoffs. Looks like they're out of it. 49ers trying to fight for the 1 seed. Nick Friedman, who do you have?
49ers.
Give me why.
I think they're playing well right now. Actually, they had a bad loss last week, so I'm not going to use that. But they did come off a win against New Orleans, and we know the Atlanta Falcons are not a normal 5-9 team. They had a contest. I don't see them losing 2 straight. This 49ers team has been really solid all year, and I think the Rams team is so inconsistent that going into San Francisco on a Saturday night primetime game, I like a statement win out of the 49ers.
Yeah.
49ers have too much to lose in this game.
I can't trust the Rams at this point. Jared Goff isn't very good.
And although the 49ers have pretty much clinched, if they want a first round bye, which they deserve, they need to beat the Rams and then beat the Seahawks. There's no really other option.
Yeah.
I'm taking the 49ers in this game. You two are obviously taking the 49ers as well. I don't trust the Rams. But the coaching aspect of Sean McVay, these are 2 of the best coaches. I'd say 2 top 5 coaches in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan should realistically win Coach of the Year. I think we agree on that.
I would pick him.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Pete Carroll, you throw him in there or whatever. This 49ers team is incredible. Sean McVay will keep you in games, though. But this roster has just been extremely disappointing this year. Jared Goff's been disappointing. The offense hasn't had that spark. I know Brandon Cooks has been hurt for a lot of the year. Cooper Kupp is not who he was. He's a shell of who he was in the first couple of weeks of the season. Robert Woods has been tremendous.
I wouldn't go with Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
I just think it's Robert Woods and Tyler Higbee stepping up recently.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think that they decided to change their offense around.
But
They're
Todd
not-
Gurley's been
I don't think Cooper
non-existent
Kupp has
this
done
year.
anything wrong.
They're trying to make Todd Gurley existent though, which does change their offense.
Yeah, he's looked good the past couple weeks.
Not last week.
Yeah, I mean it's on and off, but at least he doesn't look like an old man anymore.
True.
Yes.
So,
All right, next game.
and Donald has also been.
Next game, Saints at Titans. Saints still can get the 1 seed. It's a tough shot, and they're fighting for the first round bye. And Titans are still trying to fight for the division, which for the AFC South, which seems like they have lost because they lost to the Texans last week. Who do you have and why?
I have the Saints because they're a better team. I think their defense is like finally becoming where it needs to be for the playoffs. And I think this Titans offense, they have one bad week. It wasn't even that bad, but I think that the Titans aren't a legitimate contender.
This is a huge game in the NFL.
Yeah.
yeah, huge.
First off, the Saints need
Especially
this
for the Steelers.
to get a bye. Yeah. The Saints need this game if they want to bye over the Packers and the winner of the NFC West, which would be either the 49ers or the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And Titans have been peaking at the right time. They came off a loss to the Texans last week, which was disappointing, but it made sense. The Texans are a good team. I'm going with the Saints. I think they were playing great football against the Colts. They're riding the Drew Brees, Michael Thomas momentum after Drew Brees. Congratulations to Drew Brees. He just got the most NFL touchdowns in history. And I like what the Saints are doing. I actually have not been too high on the Saints recently, but after watching them play the Colts, they look like an amazing football team.
Yeah, they have the talent. I think they can beat teams in really any way, and I think they'll just destroy this Titans defense, which is very underrated by the way.
I don't think they're going to destroy them. I think this is going to be a closer game than people will give it credit for. But it really, like you said earlier, it comes down to the Saints have a better roster than the Titans do. No player on this Titans team, maybe in the NFL besides maybe Stephon Gilmore and a couple other choice cornerbacks, can guard Michael Thomas like consistently from the line of scrimmage. Same with Alvin Kamara.
Titans have a very good secondary.
I know they have a very good secondary, but I don't know who's going to guard Michael Thomas. You're going to see a lot of double team, a lot of triple team, a lot of help, but that's going to leave a lot of opportunities for players like Alvin Kamara and Ted Ginn Jr. to get open into the field.
By the way, I know we've all been following it. Michael Thomas is currently at 133 receptions. I believe the record's 144 receptions set by Marvin Harrison for most receptions in a year.
Yes.
He has 2 games. I think he's going to break it this weekend. He gets a lot of short passes, and I think it will be close to 11 receptions. I'm really excited to see if he gets
Michael
it.
Thomas is a great receiver, but he has probably one of the best situations for a receiver in
Absolutely.
NFL history. So, I mean, they get him the ball in so many ways, and, I mean, he is a great receiver.
Yeah. They have Drew Brees and an amazing offensive
I
line.
have an interesting stat for you guys on Next Gen Stats. The Titans, stay with me here. The Titans are completing, or they're number 1 in the NFL in tough passes completed, and that means when you look at Next Gen Stats, the percentage of the pass, like you look at those commercials, like 9% chance of it getting completed. They lead the league in passes that are under 50% chance of getting completed. Ryan Tannehill's he's a really accurate passer, and he moves the ball really well. They're top 10 in third down and fourth down efficiency. I don't know. This game's going to be closer. I don't like a blowout here.
To be honest, I don't believe those stats. I don't really understand how you can assume there's a 50% chance of them getting a play to work.
I don't know if those are exactly correct, and that goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like, you could say that the Titans they can't rely on being this efficient going forward.
Yeah, I know. It's just like they're surprising people. I think Ryan Tannehill should be the starter next year, but that's. Do you think Ryan Tannehill should be the starter next year over Marcus Mariota?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. The only conversation is, do you dump Tannehill for another person?
I don't think you do. They're winning games with him.
Yeah.
Another aspect of the Saints' defense, they just improved. They got Janoris Jenkins, who the Giants cut after he said some offensive things. I totally stand by the Giants for cutting him. And Janoris Jenkins has kind of had an off year for the Giants, but I think that's because he was covering the number 1 receiver. When he goes alongside Marshawn Lattimore, who's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, I think he'll be a great number 2 cornerback, taking that spot away from Eli Apple. They've needed some help there all year. I think that was a good signing for them.
I mean, Eli Apple he's been solid, so
He's not been that bad, but they could use an upgrade.
Eli Apple also likes to play in the slot, so that works a lot for them.
Yeah. All right, next game, moving on to Cardinals at Seahawks. Seahawks are trying to fight. They have the number 1 seed right now. They're trying to maintain it. Who do you have and why?
I have the Seahawks. I really don't like this Cardinals team too much.
I like Kyler a lot, though.
I love Kyler Murray, but I think they're kind of a wreck, and they're so inconsistent.
I like them going on earlier in the year. I think everyone knew they'd be a wreck. I think
Yeah,
the Cardinals
I'm not
knew
surprised.
they would be a wreck.
Really,
I don't
I'm kinda
blame
surprised.
them.
I thought they'd have a lot less wins than they do. They keep it close for the most
Yeah,
part
I
in
thought
every single game that they play.
they have impressed me this year.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing about the Cardinals is they put Kyler Murray, the first pick, starting day one, into a team with a terrible offensive line and a terrible
They
receiving
didn't
core.
have any other options. I mean,
I'm not blaming them, but I'm saying this is why I'm not high on that team.
yeah. So you don't like.
I would also start
you don't
Kyler Murray
like
day
what
one.
Cliff Kingsbury is doing.
No, I liked them starting
Yeah.
Kyler Murray day one. I just don't expect them to do well.
And I think the Seahawks will blow them out. This Cardinals defense is horrendous, and their offense hasn't even looked good. It hasn't looked explosive.
They
last
might
week.
have found something though in Kenyon Drake.
He had
It
He had 4 touchdowns last week.
seemed like an odd trade because they already had David Johnson, but
Yeah.
he's just clearly proven himself to be more talented than David Johnson, having 140 yards and 4 touchdowns last week.
Just another example of Adam Gase not using players correctly.
Exactly.
All right, that's a fair point, but I will say that this Seahawks team are completely being carried by Russell Wilson. They're bottom 5. They're bottom, if not 5, they're bottom 8 defense in the NFL. I think they're 27th in defensive efficiency. They're 25th in scoring. Around these numbers, the Seahawks defense is not very impressive to me. And they just lost Josh Gordon. I think this game's gonna be closer than I give it credit for. I think the Seahawks win by around 14 because this team is better. They have Russell Wilson, but this is gonna be a close game. It's a must-win for the Seahawks.
I agree. I think it could be a bit of a shootout, but I just think Seattle has It's Russell Wilson versus Kyler Murray, another example of quarterbacks on quarterbacks. And also the Seahawks do have a better offensive line.
Yeah.
So I would go Seahawks, just a much better team.
I know, but you look at it this way, like the Seahawks, I could see the Seahawks going down early in this game. Russell Wilson's the best comeback player in the NFL. I think we can probably agree on that. He's the best quarterback. I want him
I could see
when
it
I'm playing
both
for mine.
ways.
Yeah.
I could see the Seahawks going up early,
But I could also see them going down
and
early.
then the Cardinals coming back.
One important aspect, this game is in Seattle, the 12th man. They're always going to bring it,
Yeah.
so you never know
It's
there.
loud
It
there.
could be a blowout.
Yeah. All right, next game, Cowboys and Eagles. So here's the interesting thing about this game. If the Eagles win this game, they still don't win the division. They need to win out to win the division. If they win this game but lose week 17 against
I got you.
it's the Giants, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's the Giants,
It's the
so
Giants,
they should
so-
be able to win that game.
I mean, okay, so I think the thing that really bothers me is it seems like both these teams, they've had so many opportunities to take the division from each other.
Yeah.
It seems like they don't even want to win the division.
Yeah.
Like both these teams should be a lot better than they've been performing, and it's really sad that both these teams are at this standing.
What would happen if the Eagles were to win this week and then both teams were to win on week 17?
Then the Eagles control their own destiny right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Cowboys play Washington week 17, which should be an easy one. So
Neither of these teams deserve to make the playoffs.
apparently, recent news I heard, Dak Prescott is slightly injured. He's going to play this Sunday, but that is something to look out for. It's his throwing shoulder.
He hasn't practiced much.
Mm-hmm.
I trust. I don't know. I don't trust Jason Garrett, and you guys aren't very high on Jason Garrett, and neither am I.
I don't trust either team.
At all.
I don't.
Yeah.
I trust Doug Peterson more than I trust Jason
I
Garrett.
don't really trust Doug Peterson either, though.
He won a Super Bowl. That's my trust. Okay?
Yeah.
A little more.
I trust him. Realistically thinking, this Cowboys roster is unbelievable. We've said it so many times. They're loaded.
So is the Eagles.
So is the
are-
Eagles.
I don't think the Eagles are loaded right now. Injuries are setting them
The
back.
secondary is just so bad.
Yeah,
that it
and
limits
they're
everything.
lacking receivers.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar's had a bad year. Alshon Jeffrey's been banged up the
Their
whole season.
top receiver last week, he goes by the name Greg Ward. He was quarterback at Houston. He might be
Right.
their number one receiver going this week. Apparently, they had Josh McCown, their backup quarterback, who's about 40 years old, running snaps on the sideline
Okay.
to play receiver.
But also, the Eagles don't get to use the excuse of injuries because the other team in Pennsylvania is
The Steelers?
Obviously.
That's unrelated.
Yeah.
So
Who's your pick?
I think I'm gonna take the Cowboys. They have so much more talent. If Dak Prescott's hurt, it's fine. You saw. This is my problem with the Cowboys. They found their identity way too late. Why have you been waiting to give
I
Ezekiel
don't
Elliott the
even
ball?
know if they have
Why-
on there.
I don't
Like,
think they
no,
have.
no, no.
They had a big
Yeah.
win, though.
Hold on. Why did they wait to give Ezekiel Elliott the ball 30 times? The way that they win is by giving Ezekiel Elliott the ball. There's proof of this when they went 12-4. They lost to the Packers in the playoffs, but they were the 1 seed that year.
Yeah.
When you give Ezekiel Elliott the ball, great things happen. Why have they been waiting so long?
And
to
you
do that?
paid him.
And you paid him
too.
so.
Yeah.
You paid him the biggest contract for a running back
I mean,
in NFL history.
there is the other side to that is you don't want him to get injured. But what are you doing?
Like, why are you paying him if you don't want him to play?
You're
It's
treating him like a
ridiculous.
superstar.
I
and
bet
you're
you,
not
though,
giving him the
with
ball.
Dak's slight injury, they will be giving him the ball at least 25 times. Passing and running.
Give him the ball 40
I
times.
hope so for
honestly.
the Cowboys' sake. I think I'm gonna take.
I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'm gonna take the Cowboys here. I don't trust the Eagles.
In Philadelphia, NFC East games, the atmosphere is always crazy there.
Yeah, but then when they lose, they get booed.
Yes, and I am going with the Cowboys.
Yes.
They played earlier this year. It was a little misleading. Week 7, the Cowboys won 37-10. You don't just change completely from that. I'm going with the Cowboys again.
Next game on the schedule, Chiefs at Bears, Sunday Night Football. And here's the interesting...
It's not Sunday night.
It is Sunday Night Football.
It is Sunday night,
It is
sorry.
Sunday Night Football. Just tuning in, Engine Radio, YouTube, WHH Radio 88.1. Chiefs, Bears, Sunday Night Football. Here's my thing about the Chiefs. They're the hottest team in the NFL right now. They've beaten the Patriots. They've beaten the Ravens. They've beaten... Help me out here. They lost to the Texans.
Just beat the Raiders
They
a few weeks ago. They beat the Broncos in a snowy game.
They've beaten
Impressive win.
They've beaten really good teams. They're in a position where they can get the 1 seed. If the Ravens, they need some help, but if the Ravens lose one of their games and they win and the Patriots lose, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think they're in a position where they're going for the 2 seed because you can't assume the Ravens.
Here's my most impressive thing about the Chiefs. First of all, I think you guys can agree with me on this. Patrick Mahomes seems like he's healthier right now than he has been all season. He's been banged up the whole year. And this Chiefs team, although they're 4th in scoring offense still, this is their 10th team that they're playing this year that is a top 10 defense. That's crazy to me. That's so impressive.
That in gym class today.
That is crazy.
Extremely impressive.
It's crazy how they're keeping this up. I mean,
even with Matt Moore for 3 games.
Yeah, they're a really intriguing Super Bowl contender, and their pass defenses look great. Obviously, their run defense has been pretty pathetic, but I think in terms of the other teams in the AFC, you're going to need a really good pass defense, and of course, the Chiefs have the great offense.
Yeah, but also they
are going to have to play the Ravens probably.
I think they're a dark horse to go to the Super Bowl and even
the
win
Chiefs.
Yes,
I think a couple episodes
we talked
ago,
about
I think
this.
I said I thought the Chiefs were going to win the Super Bowl.
I don't think they're going to win.
But
I
think we all agreed on that.
Realistically, they can go to the AFC Championship game, and I think they're the best team that could beat the Ravens. I mean, they beat the Ravens earlier this year. It was a long time ago, and it was in Kansas City, but Patrick Mahomes can outplay Lamar Jackson. I know he can.
By the way, they're playing in Chicago. The Bears are eliminated from playoff contention officially. It brings a tear to my eye. They also don't have a first-round pick, so they'll be trying to win this game. Even if they did, they'd probably be trying to win this game.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have?
I have the Chiefs.
I have the Chiefs.
I am not going to pick this game.
I think you should.
I'm going to stand out. Fine, I'm going to pick the Bears.
All right. He's picking the Bears. Patrick Mahomes versus Mitch Trubisky. Honestly, you can throw out anything we just said. Patrick Mahomes versus Mitch Trubisky.
That seems to be the story with a lot of these games.
It's the battle of Mitch Trubisky was drafted before Patrick Mahomes was. Just keep that in mind for a second. Next game, Monday Night Football, Packers-Vikings. Big game because if the Packers win, the NFC North is clinched. The Packers can lose this game but then win Week 17, and then they will win the division. So the Vikings need the Packers to lose out to win the division, number 1. Number 2, Dalvin Cook is not playing. That is a huge factor. And number 3, the Packers beat the Vikings earlier in the season. Who do you have and why?
This is a really, really hard game.
It's going to be a really great game.
Even with the Vikings injuries. I don't think it'll be a very close game, but I think it's hard for me to choose who will win.
Why do you say that?
Because I have a feeling the Packers are going to play bad for some reason. But I'm going to go with the Packers here because of the Dalvin Cook injury.
And Kirk Cousins.
And
Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback. I think he's number 2 in yards this year.
I think Jameis Winston's number 1.
Philip Rivers is number 1.
Kirk Cousins is number 10 in yards.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
And Jameis Winston's number 1.
Kirk Cousins has had an all-time season. He's been really good this year. He's been really efficient. He's thrown a lot of touchdowns. He can't win primetime games. He can't do it.
Is he 0-8, 0-9?
Something like that. And who have they beaten that has a positive record this year? How many teams?
That has positive.
That has a positive record.
I'm looking.
They beat the Cowboys.
0
teams.
Well,
Cowboys and Eagles both are
one.
500.
And you look at this Packers team, and the Packers were up 21-0 in the first quarter against the Vikings. In this game, they looked like they were going to run away with it. The Vikings come back and score 16 points across the second, third, and fourth quarter. But this Packers defense is much improved. It's looked really good the past couple of weeks. And Dalvin Cook not being there, here's underrated. It should make it pretty easy for Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith to get to the quarterback because the blocking aspect of Dalvin Cook will not be there. Yeah. And Dalvin Cook, if not the best running back in the NFL, is a top 3 running back in the NFL. It puts a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins to make the right plays.
And this Vikings team is definitely a running team.
Absolutely.
They had a new offensive coordinator. It was all focused on Dalvin Cook.
I'm excited to see what rookie Alexander Madison out of Boise State is going to be able to do?
Boone is Mike.
Is Madison hurt also?
Yeah, Madison's hurt too.
Okay. Then is it Boone and Amir Abdullah?
I don't know if Amir Abdullah's on their team anymore.
He still is.
Okay.
I'm also going Green Bay. They looked pretty good against the Bears. Not quite in the second half. Aaron Rodgers is just such a great quarterback.
You can't count him out. Obviously, he's past his prime, but he's still.
I don't know if he's past his prime.
Like,
He's still amazing.
I don't know. He gives me this LeBron type vibe where, is he trying? Like you watch LeBron play in the regular season, you're like I know he can play better than this.
He's not the same as LeBron.
Like
the NBA is nowhere.
I know. But it's like it's.
I understand what you're saying.
Aaron Rodgers is unbelievable. I think he's the most talented quarterback I've ever seen. Outside Patrick Mahomes and John Elway and Aaron Rodgers, those are the three most talented quarterbacks. Maybe Dan Marino too, like in NFL history. Aaron Rodgers is unbelievable.
Aaron Rodgers has 1 interception this year, and it was at the beginning.
It was 2.
Yeah.
Week 2.
2 interceptions. 1 against the Eagles, 1 against the Lions. You can fact check that if you would like to. I know I'm right.
To quote Stephen A. Smith, he's a bad man.
He is a bad man. I'm picking the Packers. The spread's -5.5. That is an easy plus 5.5.
Yeah, you're right. 2 interceptions.
Thank you. Picking the Packers over the
That's
Vikings this
embarrassing.
week. So, yeah. And, we're going to take a quick break for about 2 minutes. And, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Thanks for listening to Engine, WNT's Radio 8.1.